Okay. For anybody waiting on Zoom, and there's very few of you in the audience right now, we are delayed waiting for a quorum. So Cindy and Julie are running a little bit behind, and we'll get started as soon as we can. Thanks for hanging on. Thanks, Sarah. All right, I'm going to call the PCOE PUSD regular board meeting to order. We will do the flag salute and Chelsea will lead us. Ready to begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. We do roll call for minutes. Correct.
Fine. Craig,
Oh, here.
Harrison. Here. Johnson.
Here. All right, I will entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
I make a motion to approve the agenda.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We'll move it to closed session. We'll send Jolene our way. Welcome. We're going to go ahead and begin. We are reconvening at 5:52. Apologize for the delay. We got started a little late tonight. I'm going to report out of any action taken from closed session. I will entertain a motion for PUSD stipulated expulsion agreement case 242505.
I'll move to approve.
Jolene moves to approve. Do I have a second?
I second.
Chelsea seconds. A first and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Is that roll call? Barb? No. Is it the agreement? Okay, so we're going to move on to staff. So that it's clear to everybody how we're going to do this is I'm going to ask a member of the admin team to do any kind of presentation that's required. The board may have some discussion about it. Then we'll move into public comment for that particular section. You will have your 3 minutes or 20 minutes total, whichever comes first. The board may have more discussion, and then the board will take action. So, that being said, I will turn this over to Jim to go through the rest of item number 9.
We're asking the board to approve personnel transactions for Plymouth Unified School District as presented in closed session. We have a couple of alterations that the board has.
So I'll move to approve.
Before you make any motion, Jolene, I'm going to ask for public comment.
Okay.
You can go ahead. Okay, I just thought maybe you could reiterate what we're ending on the personnel agenda.
Okay. So when I do make a motion, it would be that we remove item B, that would not be approved, and that we would table or hold item C to I.
So I'll entertain public comment for number 9, and I'll call Stuart Clark up first. There is a microphone at the podium, Stuart.
Good evening, thank you. My name is Stuart Clark. I get to serve as the PCTA Vice President.
Can you hear Stuart?
I can.
Is that mic on?
Is the green button?
There, he's getting closer.
I work in a classroom, I don't need a microphone.
Just getting close. It's just too echoey in here.
That's difficult. I haven't been. Is that better?
Much.
My name is Stuart Clark. I serve as the PCTA Union Vice President. I wanted to address the experience we are all having as a teacher. My goal as a teacher, when I have a group of students in a room, is to help each of them and all of them grow. As a special ed teacher, I need extra help with that, so we have goals that guide me. Gen ed teachers are smarter than I am. They can do that without that additional assist. The part that often gets missed is all of us must grow together, or none of us will grow as much as we could. That has been my experience over 41 years in the classroom, at the teacher side, and having been involved in schools as a student or a teacher since 1966, continuously. That's the one thing I've learned that is absolutely true. I don't grow as much if we don't grow together. Unfortunately, some of what we've experienced lately looks like people's individual, maybe even individual communities, but the needs and fervent desires of individuals sometimes are overriding the common good. And we're getting in squabbles when we should be collaborating. Again, I go back to the teacher model. 2 things are required for me to make it work. I need relationship with my students. I need to know who they are, and I need relationship with them. And I need to set boundaries. This is what we do here. For me, one of the things that I'll use, with your grandmother, what would she say? She heard you say that, or saw you do that. And frequently, kids will go, she wouldn't be happy. My return question is, then why did you do it? And the answer ultimately is because sometimes all of us, myself chiefly, will do what I can get away with when I don't feel I'm being watched by somebody whose opinion matters. Well, our opinion matters about each other, folks. We care about each other. That's why people are getting so upset and so energized. I want to encourage us to remember the common good is our boundary.
30 seconds.
So, I just want to remind us, our kids are watching. Let's be what we want them to be.
Thank you, Stuart.
Thank you, Stuart. I sincerely appreciate your comment. Shannon Phillips. Come on up.
So I actually have two, I'd like to read mine, and then the other one I'd like to read before the resolution 1681 and 1682 are voted on. They both have to do with the same thing, but.
I'll call you back up.
Yeah.
Great.
Okay, so good evening, board members, superintendent, and members of the public. My name is Shannon Phillips, a dedicated teacher at Greenville Elementary School. I'm here tonight because I believe we are at a critical crossroads where trust, transparency, and accountability must take precedence over convenience and political maneuvering. Let's begin with the issue of the new board member. A vote was taken to appoint him, and he was not sworn in. And I understand that there was a legality issue with that, but someone stated at the last board meeting that the appointment was already on the agenda for tonight's meeting, when in fact it wasn't. It's now on the special meeting agenda. And I just want to be clear, presenting inaccurate information to the public is not just a mistake, it's a breach of our trust. Transparency isn't optional, it is the foundation of a good governance. The community deserves honesty, especially when it concerns how leadership is established. Now, it's my understanding that it was said the other night that if there was a tie vote, that Mr. Frost could vote. And this is concerning. As head of the district office, he's not a voting member of the board. If he or others within the district are influencing votes under a false pretense or voting when they shouldn't be, the legitimacy of the board is in question. And finally, I want to address FO 44949, specifically Section 3, or Section C, Part 3. This section clearly states that the board should have received the proposed decision from the administrative law judge on or before May 7th, and it's my understanding that was never sent to you guys. But you are being asked to vote on resolutions 1681 and 1682. You did not receive the proposed decision, so once again, the board is being expected to vote on serious matters without the full legally required information. This isn't a clerical error, this is a pattern, an ongoing troubling pattern of withholding critical information in order to push through decisions that may not be in the best interests of students, staff, or the broader community. So to the board, you were elected to represent the people, not to rubber stamp directives from the district office. Please show your leadership and demand compliance with the law, respect our right to the truth, and refuse to be manipulated. So, I just want to read really quickly what Ed Code 4494 Section C-3 says.
Could you speak a little, could you get that microphone a little closer?
A little closer?
Yeah.
Okay.
Shannon, are you changing subjects so we can start any three?
No, I just want to read the Ed Code to you. I don't have any further comment, but I feel like you guys need to hear this before you vote on that with those resolutions.
Go ahead.
Okay. The hearing So this is regarding people who have gotten pink slips and the hearing that they have. The hearing shall be conducted by an administrative law judge who shall prepare a proposed decision containing findings of fact and a determination as to whether the charges sustained by the evidence are related to the welfare of the schools and the pupils of the school. The proposed decision shall be prepared for the governing board and shall contain a determination as to the sufficiency of the cause and recommendation as to the disposition. However, the governing board shall make the final determination as to the sufficiency of the cause and disposition. None of the findings, recommendations, or determinations contained in the proposed decision prepared by the administrative law judge shall be binding on the governing board. Non-substantive procedural errors committed by the school district or governing board of the school district shall not constitute cause for dismissing the charges unless the errors are prejudicial errors. Copies of the proposed decision shall be submitted to the governing board and to the employees on or before May 7th of the year in which the proceeding is commenced. All expenses of the hearing, including the cost of the administrative law judge, shall be paid by the governing board from school district funds. So if you guys, what I'm asking is if you guys did not get that judgment or that proposed judgment and you haven't read it, you can't justifiably vote on 2 resolutions that have to do with that very subject without all of the information at hand.
Thank you, Shannon. All right, that is the end of public comment as far as cards. Last call for public comment for item number 9. All right, any further board discussion? All right, we'll entertain a motion.
A1.
Or Jolene can read the exceptions again.
Yeah, I can go ahead. For the personnel.
I'll move to approve the personnel transactions as submitted. However, item B is not approved, and item C to I is taken.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I didn't do it, item B, what did you say?
Item B
So it's
not
on
on the personnel agenda that we talked about during the session.
Oh, I did.
you vote yes or aye?
Yes, I did.
Correct. You have that, or do you have any from all of us? Okay. Great. All right, moving on to item B, under number 9, 2024-2025 CSEA 193 AB 1200 public disclosure. Jim, would you like to say anything about this?
Yes, I recommend the board approve our tentative agreement negotiated with CSEA. I know the district is in a difficult fiscal situation, but this tentative agreement levels the playing field between all our bargaining units and makes it fair for everyone. I appreciate the efforts of our advisor, Robert Shemuel, and the Department of Education to allow this to go through. So we do recommend the approval of the tentative agreement with CSEA, Unit 193.
All right, so as far as board discussion, Jim, I just want clarity. Should a motion be made, is it for number 9, B, C, and D? Or do we need to take all of these individually?
This would be just C, item C.
So item B, 2024-25 CSEA 193 doesn't require action.
Does it require, yes. Item B requires action. C is just their initial proposal that we can see.
Okay, item
Go back to raise.
So except on our agenda, it does request for approval on item D.
B. Okay. Or let's have some discussion. If you have any. Are we ready to entertain a motion?
It's the financial side of the decision. So ultimately, the document is the financial side of approving CSCA. That's what I'm seeing here as a disclosure, but it does call for an approval on our agenda. So I make a motion to approve 24-25 CSCA 193 AB 1200 public disclosure. Also doesn't identify those are together, but I guess that would be the financial side of the tentative agreement. So then also item C as well. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'll second.
Are we talking about
Yes.
approving it?
Yes.
I approve.
So we have a first and a second for 2024-2025 CSEA 193 AB 1200 public disclosure. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. So, to clarify, do I need a motion for these two things? Okay, so now, I'm going to ask for a motion to approve CSEA 193 tentative agreement.
I did that in one motion.
Because of things that have been messed up in the past, we're going to take it.
Okay.
All right? So Chelsea made the motion.
I make a motion to approve CSEA 193 tentative agreement.
Do I have a second? Julie seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Cindy? Great. Item D, CSEA 193 initial proposal for 25-26. Do I have a motion for that?
I make a motion to approve CSCA 193 initial proposal for 25-26. Second?
Julie seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We're going to move on to a much more.
Hang on,
I'm so excited to go.
Hang on.
Sorry, go ahead.
I have a question on that. Is that the teacher's layoff?
No, this is the agreement for the coming year. So this is the tentative agreement for the coming year.
Initial proposal for negotiations.
Which includes the two accounts. Yes.
Barb, you have a question? Cindy voted yes. Correct, Cindy?
Yeah.
All right, we're going to move on to what I really like to be here for tonight, our presentations. So I'm going to hand it over to Scott Corey and Kendall Cooper for the Principal's Recognition Award.
All right, good evening, everybody. This is the fun part where we get to honor a student from both Chester Elementary School and Chester High School. I will begin with Chester Elementary School. The student that we are honoring, this was an easy pick for Mrs. Tanderdino. She'll have a few words to say about Adeline in just a moment. Just a little insight for you. Neither the school or Adeline's parents told her what tonight was all about, and she assumed she was in trouble. Nothing could be further from the truth this evening. We're here to honor Adeline. And I do want to also introduce her parents are here this evening, Peter and Katie Martins, and her sister Ellie is also here, from Chester Junior Senior High School, and then her grandparents, John and Cindy Mansell from Quincy, are also here as well. We don't miss many events for the girls here. So if we could have Mrs. King come on up, and also Adeline. You don't have to say anything. You did say that she had to sing the Chester Elementary School song. That is also not true, but it did cause a sufficient bit of stress. And we do love Adeline, and so it's always good to have a fun time with her. But Adeline is a member of our 6th grade class, brings so many great things to Chester Elementary School, and we are going to let Mrs. T tell you just a few things about her.
Thank you, Mr. Corey. I agree, this is the fun part of the evening. Ready, Addie? Okay, we're not sure. Adeline is a standout leader in the 6th grade, consistently setting a positive example for her peers with her optimistic attitude and strong commitment to learning. She is a self-motivated student who eagerly lends a helping hand to others and approaches each day with kindness, respect, and a genuine smile. Adeline embraces new challenges with enthusiasm and makes the most of every learning opportunity. Academically, she excels, particularly in mathematics, where she stands out as our top student, demonstrating an impressive ability to quickly grasp and apply complex concepts. It has been an absolute pleasure working with her and watching her grow and shine. This young lady has a bright future ahead. You guys should be very proud of her.
Congratulations, good work.
And we do have a certificate for Adam, we'll be taking pictures in just a moment, so please don't leave. Stay put. Are we ready for our next presentation, and we'll take pictures afterwards? All right. So I would like to invite up two of Michigan Unified's finest teachers, and I mean that. I have a lot of years in education. I have never worked with two better educators in my life, and I mean that. I would like to have Aletha O'Kelly, second grade teacher here at Chester Elementary School, and also Nicole Crowther. Both of them make me a better principal every day, and I mean that. One of the signature things that happens here at Chester Elementary School, and I inherited it, I can't take any credit for it, is our Thriving Thursday. About every 6 weeks, something super special that we do for our kids. They cannot wait to experience these. And one of the driving forces behind that is both Mrs. Crowther and Mrs. O'Kelly. I will be your tech guy and advanced slides, and just let me know. So please, come on.
Okay, we're gonna stand back here because we're teachers, and we're not used to people listening to us all day long. I'm Nicole Crowther, and this is Aletha Kelly, and we are excited to present, on behalf of all the teachers at Chester Elementary School, teach you about a student that we have called Thriving Thursday. So Thriving Thursday, they happen about every 6 weeks at our school, and it's a wonderful school-wide event that allows students to engage in purposeful play around our campus. We believe as a staff that purposeful play builds connections with all staff members, and it builds connections with our students among their peers of different ages. It fits with our vision to foster the development of the whole child, and it allows our students to have voice and choice in their learning. And we believe there's a number of other benefits that go along with Thriving Thursday, including building student independence, their confidence, their ability to persevere, their ability to problem solve. It builds interpersonal skills, and it builds their confidence and self-esteem. So on a typical Thriving Thursday, we take the afternoon from 1:20 to 2:15-ish, and all of the classrooms around the school, the gymnasium, sometimes the playground, weather dependent, we offer an activity for students to choose from. So our staff collaborate to consider the interests and the needs of the students, and we try to balance it with gross motor activities, arts, drama, STEM activities, reading, crafts, different things that would engage our entire student population, and then students spend that time traveling on their own all throughout the school. So the first one in September is a little crazy, and the first graders have to make a map that they get to where they need to go, and by the end of the year, everybody can navigate where they need to be and get where they want to be on their own. And so students can visit probably 3 to 4 activities throughout that time. So we've done, in our time period, we started this in about 2021, we've done murals outside the room, we've done Legos, we do basketball, we do jellyfish activities, we make galaxy bottles, we do electric circuits. There's all kinds of activities to choose from, and Aletha's going to talk about that process.
So as a staff, we get together and we have this planning board of the things across the top that we feel the kids really need. And then as a staff, we decide who wants to take on that part of the Thriving Thursday for the next one that we have. And then we also assign people to be in the hallways to help people move from different activities without running, and so there's supervision everywhere throughout. Anyway, so we planned this together as a staff, and it really takes all of us and our ideas to come and do this, so it's great to have staff time to do this, and I just remembered. So after Thriving Thursday is over, I sit down with my class and I ask them, what did you love? What did you really like? What do you wish there was more of? And a lot of us teachers do that, and then we use that to bring to the next Thriving Thursday. Like, they really loved this, we should try to add some more of that. And often we pull in some of the seasonal things. So in the winter, in the cafeteria, they can make hot chocolate and sit with their friend and sip on hot chocolate. So the whole school wants to do that, but they can't go the first round usually. So, you know, we try to do things like that throughout that's a little bit seasonal as well. So here, then as a teacher, you go back and you build your slide. So in Google Slides, teachers build their slides, and it tells like who's gonna run it, what room it's in, and what it is, and we try to put a visual in there for the younger kids. Kindergarten and first grade have a hard time knowing what a building room would be, but with a visual they get an idea. So here's some of the ones that we've done, like jacks in the hallway, making a snowflake, ornament. When it's nice, we love to get outside. We always try to have some sort of active game. There's just some kids are really drawn to that and actually really need that in their day. So in the gardening area, you can start sprouts, harvest sometimes, pull weeds. We have garden going usually during them. Playing games, cooperating, learning rules, painting, being creative. We try to make it just not a normal painting activity, but something a little special. We have a calming room that has like quiet music and a huge fish tank on the TV, and like all sorts of areas you can just cozy up on a beanbag, fidgets, that sort of thing. Has to be really quiet when you go in. Lego stamping was fun for everybody. This was a big one, making a galaxy bottle. Musical chairs, all different versions of it. Creation station was just a bunch of stuff and you get to make whatever you want. So these are some of the ideas that we've done in the past, some of our slides from the past, and we will use some of these again because the kids really liked some of these.
So then during Thriving Thursday, we have someone who's lucky enough or someone who's gracious enough to walk around and take photos, and we collage them when we're finished, and we share these through social media, through our school newsletter, through our school Facebook page, and through our website, because we want our parents to see their children having fun and enjoy being here at school. We also want them to help our parents understand what their children do at Thriving Thursday, because your kid will come home and be at the dinner table and they'll talk about what they did, and you're kind of trying to get your brain around how they managed to do all of these different activities in a day. So it's such a fun time on our campus, and it's so joyful, and there's so much energy and excitement the whole day of Thriving Thursday. It's kind of like Christmas morning, because they're just waiting and waiting and waiting for that clock to hit 1:15. And so this was, you can see a lot of the building activities in this collage. This was basketball. We can usually get Mr. Corey in here to play basketball. Sometimes we'll do scooter basketball, and so that's another one. There's a lot of kids that love to come in and, like Letha said, have that big motor time. This is another Thriving Thursday. You can see some great towers were being built. The time for Thriving Thursday will end, and the kids can just keep going with some of how the creativity that you start to unleash and how into the activity that they get. So that's pretty awesome.
So I thought it'd be fun to have some comments from kids that go to Thriving Thursday and what they think about it. So we wrote 3 questions for them. The first question was, how does Thriving Thursday help you grow? How does Thriving Thursday help you connect with others? And what do you discover about yourself and others when you're participating in Thriving Thursday. And so we went through kind of taking a collage of the school. So this is Leo, he's in kindergarten. Cutest kindergartner ever. This is my grandson. He answered when I asked him, how does it, or how do you connect with others, or how does it make you grow? He said, well, my class, we like make a plan to work together, and then we go to the places and we work as a team, and then he looks at me and goes, is that growing? And I thought, that's perfect. You know, he's doing all the things we want kids to be able to do, and he's not even thinking that he's learning something. This is Anna, beautiful Anna Rose, and she said that I asked her about Thriving Thursday growing, and she said, Thriving Thursday doesn't help me grow, it helps me play. But when I get back to class, then I can work hard again for my learning. And I thought, that's awesome too, like that's perfect. This is Gavin, this is Mrs. Gear's son, he's in 3rd grade, and he said, I really like to try the new activities and learn something new each time. Usually there are things that I've never tried before. And that's what I find too, kids will do something they've never done before and realize that I really liked it, or I never really liked that, you know? And this is Tanner, and he's in 6th grade, and he said, I might see a little person that needs help, and I get a chance to help that person. And without Thriving Thursday, I might never see that person. And I've met so many little people. I thought that was really neat, nice connection, and little kids just come in. Anyway, those are just some ideas from kids in our school, what they think.
So we invite you to join us for our next Thriving Thursday. Any of you can come and are welcome to run an activity in any space we can find one. And we also encourage you to connect with your own staffs and consider starting something like this at your own school. Pioneer Elementary did it last year. They just started Discovery Day. It could be a Wonder Wednesday, a Talk About It Tuesday, whatever fits your school. But in the times of a budget crisis and a fiscally challenging future, this is really like teacher-driven and staff-driven, staff-initiated, and it's a great activity that builds a positive school culture.
This is a great example of some of the best things that happen at Chester Elementary School having nothing to do with me. I cannot brag on our staff enough. This is something that is above and beyond, and they do it because it's great for the kids. Some of my greatest play days at school have been on Thriving Thursday, to be honest with you. Had a great time every time. So I'm so grateful and blessed to be part of the staff at Chester Elementary School. So thanks for listening to everything.
All right, we're going to move on to our student representative to the governing board, Mariana Boatwright.
We still have Mr.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Cooper, I apologize. Go ahead.
She's worth the time. But first, I'd like to acknowledge the Chester community, Chester High Schools, the staff, the teachers there, in the accomplishment of earning our WASC accreditation. So, yeah, good deal. I appreciate the support of the board, the leaders, in helping this happen. It wasn't easy, trusting me to do it. And I really appreciate Ms. Orange really spending a lot of extra time and just making things happen. We've made tremendous growth this year, and we want to keep that going. And it really couldn't happen without the community getting involved. So we want to keep that going. We appreciate you for that. We got WASC highest honor, so we killed it in one semester. So thank you, Chester. Now I'd like to acknowledge Laura Bishop. This is uncomfortable for her, and I understand. Laura is our valedictorian, and by far, so give her a hand. But what Laura's accomplished is more than just her GPA. She's done some quite remarkable things, and I've only been there 1 year, so it's hard to kind of learn people. And Laura's very kind of introverted, which is true, but getting to know her, she's fascinating. I was an entomologist in college, published in that. She has the same interest in entomology. I could actually show my entomology books to her and she can geek out a little bit. She can have a career as an artist, as a, art, insect illustrations for publications and things like that. She's that good, and she has attention to detail that's really, really quite remarkable. The second thing I've learned about her is she's quite an artist. She has quite a good eye, but what she's done is she's created what's called a pitch Bible. I wouldn't call it a storyboard because I'm old, but a pitch Bible, and it is amazingly detailed and really quite remarkable. And it's something she's been working on all along, and it's really, really incredible. What it is basically like if you're going to a business, I'm going to pitch this, and it's a video game. And she basically is kind of like a storyboard where she has these elements of what she wants to do, and it's big, and it is incredibly detailed, very beautiful, actually. Even if you don't like video games, it's something to watch. So she's doing that. And then, last but not least, she brought back or created a newspaper for us. So we're going old school at Chester, and this is her doing it. This is her creation. She has a group of students that tag along and help, but it's all student-directed, student-driven. This was important for WASP, showing that what kids were doing, getting kids involved in the direction of their school. She just did it and organized it without much fanfare, sweated over details, learning how hard it is to actually format and print something like this. She stuck it out and has done a remarkable job and added something new to the school, which is actually kind of hard to do. So I congratulate Laura. Her mom, Sean, is right over there. She's our registrar. And congratulations. Thank you so much.
The paper is also published at our post office, so just the general public can actually pick this up without having to go to the high school, which is amazing as well.
It's kind of a big deal.
All right, shall we move on to our student representative to the governing board? Carry on vote night. So I believe we're going to start eventually, so you have.
She's already been sworn. Yeah, she's already been sworn.
You've already?
Yeah, we did it in September. Yeah.
My name is Ariana Boatwright. I am a junior at Chester Junior Senior High School. I cannot say how much our school has just changed in 1 year. Just the more things that are being offered since the beginning of the year it's so crazy. We now have new clubs that students can get involved in and get more involved in the school. We have FCA, which is Fellowship of Christian Athletes. We have Spanish Club, which we are raising money to go to Mexico next year. We have the school newspaper, and I mean, just those three things, we have almost all the school involved in all three of those. So it's amazing to see how much just adding some clubs can do to your school and want them to come to school. We just got done having an amazing prom put on by the junior class, and I can say that our school has just improved from having dances since the beginning of the year, where we barely had any kids coming to our dances last year, and now we have almost every single student and kids from other schools wanting to come to our dances. So it's really exciting to be able to see that our school wants more kids involved, and I believe that has a lot to do with our ASB and the changes that our school has made, and I am so excited to see the growth with it in the upcoming years.
Thank you. And again, Mr. Cooper, my apologies for trying to skip you. That wasn't intentional. Okay, moving on. Number 11, public input. The card that I have for this is for Alicia Banning. Alicia, come on up.
Might take a minute, I'm pretty short, mine's been out my front.
You can take it off, yeah, and stuff to the side if you want to.
Does that work?
Okay, we know you can purge that.
I'm a loud person, so I may just overcome this. Okay, my name is Alicia Banning. I'm the president of the Plumas County Teachers Association. I'm speaking to this governing board today not to criticize, but to call us higher as a district, as a community, and as leaders entrusted with the future of our children. Plumas Unified School District has served our communities for generations. We are a small, tight-knit region with deep roots and proud traditions. But among these traditions, there is one that we can no longer afford to preserve, the good old boy system. This term may sound familiar. It describes a culture where decisions are made behind closed doors, where positions and privileges are passed along not by merit or transparency, but by who you know and how long you've been in their inner circle. In PUSD, we've seen this pattern in hiring practices, in disciplinary inconsistencies, and in who gets heard and who does not. Qualified educators are passed over, parents' concerns dismissed, policies enforced unequally. As we move forward towards state receivership, we must face the fact that this behavior isn't just unfair. It is unsustainable, unethical, and in many cases illegal. And worst of all, it sends a clear message to our communities that integrity, effort, and potential take a backseat to loyalty in politics. We have to change our behavior. If we fail to make progressive and effective change, then our district is about to embark on the largest payday loan in history. 20 years from now, we will have paid off a loan that has negatively impacted a generation of children, and be right back to where we started if we do not change our core practices. Across the district, there are teachers, staff, students, parents, and administrators calling for a new kind of leadership. One that values transparency over secrecy, merit over favoritism, diversity over sameness, listening over defending. We need to build a district where job openings are filled based on credentials, not connections. We need to create school climates where every student, regardless of background, has an equal chance to thrive. We need to invite stakeholders to the table when decisions are made, not after. And most importantly, we need to hold ourselves to higher standards of accountability and equity. Not because outsiders are watching, but because it's the right thing to do. Positive change doesn't require perfect people, it requires brave ones. We do not need to tear people down, we need to build better systems. But where there are people who are unwilling to share the efforts to make our system better, we need to be forthcoming with them and send them on their way. Collective, positive change requires honesty, courage, and humility with a shared vision from all involved. As our governing body, I challenge you all to lead our school district into a future where there is confidence and trust in our organization. We cannot achieve positive outcomes if we refuse to change our behavior. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't have any more public input cards, just making sure that I'm not missing or overlooking anything. All right, we'll move on to student achievement, and we'll ask Missy Neal to speak to this.
I'm bringing back core novels this month. They were brought to you at the April 9th board meeting. These are supplemental core novels. And they weren't approved because we apparently didn't have a quorum for them, so I am seeking approval of those supplemental core novels this month.
All right. Thank you for that presentation. Is there any more discussion?
No, I did ask my questions at that meeting.
Okay. I don't have any public comments on this particular section.
Because ultimately what I asked is, how does it come about? And so Missy had shared, just to share what that meeting was, because that was
April 9th. So the process is that, so we're looking to obviously diversify our supplemental novels, so these are not ones that are attached to our core curriculum. And supplemental core novels are paid for out of grant funding or sites, and this just provides more variety for our teachers. And so these novels are vetted by our hardworking teachers. They read them and study them over summer, and then they bring them to you for approval.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I will entertain a motion to approve the supplemental core novels.
I make a motion to approve the supplemental core novels as presented.
Thank you, Kelsey. Do you have a second?
A second.
We have a first and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Cindy, did you vote? Yes? Aye. All right. Moving on to our early childhood education toileting policy.
Yeah, so we're super excited that this 25-26 school year, we get to welcome 4-year-olds to our transitional kindergarten program. With that brings significant changes. We will be welcoming some young students who perhaps might not be potty trained yet. And so we worked with our school nurses, our principals, and our TK teachers with the guidance from the CDE to develop a policy around potty for our young learners. So I'm seeking approval of a new toileting policy for the next school year.
All right.
Yeah.
It identifies that should there be a number 2 involved, that the parents are involved to handle it. So how is that in policy handled? Because like in our area, it could take a half hour to get here.
Yeah, and we deal with that regularly now. We just are going to create actual policy around it. And so someone in the office takes care of it. If we have a nurse or a healthcare aide or the principal or vice principal, not elementary schools, but yeah, someone just takes care of it. We take care of the kids.
Okay, because in the policy it says that you will wait and call a parent to come handle it, and so I just wanted to make sure that we weren't actually allowing our children to sit and wait.
No, we don't, no. Yeah, so and we can change that part of the policy, so that is,
maybe like a reasonable amount of time or something, because I understand that with the biohazard element, unless there is an authorized, I'm assuming there is some kind of certificate needed to handle bio-waste of some sort, or?
So we're using CDE guidelines, but we take care of kids, right? Yeah, sure. We're in the business of taking care of kids, so we're not going to make them and sit in it, but yeah.
So there should be an edit, and should one of you desire to make a motion to approve this, it currently says staff will not physically change soil clothing. So, we just need to make a recommendation to make a motion to edit that line.
Yeah.
So, and that's really for teachers, so I'll change the language in that, so,
I did miss that then?
Yeah, so our teachers would not, basically if that happens, the teacher would call the office, and then the office would take care of that. So the teachers need to be able to teach the students, and the office staff would take care of that. So, I'll make the language more clear.
Great.
Yeah. So should I bring it back next month, or are you going to approve it based on the language?
Is there time to bring it back and have it edited?
Yeah, I could bring it back to the June board meeting, as long as it's approved.
I think that'd be great.
Yeah.
Before the next school year.
Right, it needs to be approved before next school year, please. Yes.
If you bring it back to the June meeting, that'd be
Yeah, I can do that.
Thank you. I thought this was a positive to factors with you too.
having a 4-year-old that will be in PK next year.
Yeah. And we're gonna get toileting kits for the kids and do lots of great stuff, so, yeah.
Thank you. All right, moving on to facilities. I don't see anything specific here, Jim. There's nothing to discuss.
No items.
All right, let's stay put. The modified summer schedule.
Yeah, so each year we bring this to you to approve a modified summer schedule for the district office. So we typically close the district office on Fridays. Staff has the option of working 4/10s or taking vacation leave on Fridays. We like to give advance notice to staff regarding this. So we're seeking approval of a modified summer schedule, providing a little more flexibility for our staff over summer. That begins the Friday after high school graduation and would go until the week before our staff returns for staff development.
All right, or is there any discussion on this topic? I will entertain a motion to approve the modified summer schedule.
I'll move to approve.
We have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
I have a first and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. You got your number? Sorry, moving on to leadership, Jim, I'll hand this off over to you.
Yes, we have been asked by the Small School Districts Association to pass this resolution urging the California Department of Education to recognize the needs of small districts. And this applies especially to things like reporting requirements that large districts can hire people to do, but it falls on very few people in small districts and a lot of paperwork and reporting. So in facilities and paperwork reporting, this resolution that we're recommending the board pass is in support of small school districts.
Or is there any discussion?
Question on who writes the resolution? Did the...
This one was by the Small School
It
Districts
was.
Association.
That's what I wanted. Thank you.
Any further discussion? I will entertain a motion to approve PUSD Resolution 1680, urging the CDE to prioritize the needs of small school districts.
So moved.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Will you do a roll call because it's a
Yes.
resolution, Barb?
Oh, sorry.
Johnson,
Aye.
Klein,
Aye.
Harrison,
Aye.
Kern.
Aye.
All right, we're going to go on to policy revisions and back to you, Missy.
Okay, so as I was digging into our board policies, I am seeking approval of all of them with the exception of a few. So all of them with the exception of BP 4151, 4251, 4351, employee compensation, as well as BP 4158, 4258, and 4358, employee security. So as I was digging through the policies, I was like, I think I just read that. They're all duplicates. So at some point throughout the years, as we've gotten our CSBA updates, we have 3 separate board policies under employee compensation and employee security that are exactly the same. So we need the opportunity to clean this up in the assembly system so that we're not bringing duplicate items to you.
Thank you, Missy.
You're welcome.
For me, I appreciate how quickly you read that and how efficiently you read it. but
It's not, oh, okay, yeah.
What I don't understand is the ones I'm approving versus the ones I'm not.
So they are provided to you in your board packet.
I see it.
Yeah.
I see what's on here, so you're asking us to approve these
Yes.
with the exception of the ones you just listed.
Yeah, and all of them are, these are policy updates provided to us from CSBA. And there's only one new one, and it's response to immigration enforcement. That would be the only new one that you probably haven't seen before until you looked in the board packet.
Right, and I reviewed them, so I just want to make sure it's clear for the minutes which on here you're asking us to table.
So we're going to table Barb BP 4151, 4251, 4351, all duplicates of employee compensation, as well as BP 4158, 4258, and 4358, employee security.
Thank you, that makes it much
We'll
more
clean
clear.
them up and bring them back in
And
January.
now I can see these very nicely in this.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay. All right, board, any more discussion? I will entertain a motion to approve those policies.
And just one thing as you're going through your board agenda, if you have your laptop open and you have it to your actual agenda, it will tell you if it's an action item or just information only. So this is just an education piece so that you'll know which, because it won't be listed on the paper. And so I would just have my laptop open because it will tell you it's an action item and then you'll know. Thank you.
Do I have a motion to approve the policies with the exceptions of the one that Ms. Leon just asked us to table?
I'll move to approve.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, we will move on to our consent items. We can take The minutes from the board meetings from 3/5/25, 3/6/25, 4/9/25, the check register, the service contracts with this agenda, PUSD, PCOE, field trips and donations, all in one thing, unless there's something you want to carve out to talk about separately. And we can have discussion on any items that appear on the consent items as well. Chelsea, do you have some?
I'm verifying on, because I believe one of these meetings I was not at, so I just want to verify that.
Great.
Sadly, March was too long ago.
I think it's important that when you talk, that everyone can hear us, because I can barely hear you.
Sorry. I'm verifying that I was going to be that I was at these meetings before I approved them.
That's
Sorry.
okay. See, I
I
have a
did
big
mumble
mouth,
that one.
it carries, I don't need it.
Yeah,
But
no, I appreciate
you guys
that.
are all, okay.
I guess I need to just open it. No, I was, okay. That's one I couldn't remember.
I think we're not here.
So
Right, and that's not on this list.
if everyone's ready, I'll move to approve all items on the consent agenda as presented tonight.
I have a first, do I have a second?
I have a second with a thank you, if I'm allowed to.
Yes.
Also say thank you. So I just want to thank, because part of it is donations, and there was some very substantial donations given this past month. So just want to thank for all the contributions, as well as the extra $1,000 for CRC. So that is very generous, so thank you very much.
Thank you, Chelsea. We have a first and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
All right, any future agenda items? All right, I'm going to adjourn the PCOE PUSD regular joint governing board meeting, and we will reconvene in 11 minutes for our special board meeting.
Yeah, and so that salad is there. I left everything else.
That's all I can.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and get started. Thank you, everybody, for being in attendance. I'm gonna call to order the PCOE and PUSD Special Joint Governing Board meeting. And we'll start with the flag salute, and this time I'll ask Jolene to lead us.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, roll call, please.
Klein. Here. Harrison. Here. Johnson.
Here.
Gray.
All right, we'll move on to public comments.
Are we going to section again?
I will ask for it again at each section, but I ask for it in so that we see if you want to wait until that specific section is time. Is there anybody in the audience who would like to comment now or on item number 7? Which is appointment to the board representative trustee area 5. All right, the board did receive some letters, and Jolene and I are going to read those. Jolene, I'll hand you the microphone, and you can start with the ones you have in your staff.
And Chelsea, please start the timer.
Okay, this is from Amber McMichael. It says, "Dear PUSD Governing Board, I'm ready to endorse Matthew Dale Latoya for the vacant trustee position. As a resident of East Quincy, I'm part of the district. I believe Mr. Dale Latoya has, am I saying that right? Okay, has the level head, conflict resolution skills, and temperament for the job. I know Keith Barnett does not. Mr. Barnett has a documented history of being incredibly condescending to women in his online communication. He's also threatened to undermine one team's high school senior project because he didn't like that team manager's posts. This is not the type of person who can work respectively with people he disagrees with. Please vote to select Mr. Dave Montoya. Thank you, Amber McMichael." Can you keep going? Okay, this is a letter to the board from Leslie Edlin. "Dear board members and colleagues, I read through the transcript of the interviews that were conducted Monday, right? And I'd like to weigh in on the challenging decision before you as you seek to fill District 5 board seat. I have never personally met either candidate, although I remember them both when they spoke at board meetings. One of the last official conversations I had while on the board was with a teacher at Quincy High School who discussed multiple issues, but all of the issues ultimately centered around trust. It was obvious that there was a large, cavernous breach of trust between all levels of the district and the sites. You know better than anyone what the district needs, but I think you would agree that the time to heal those divisions and rebuild trust is now. Mr. Dale Montoya spoke about rebuilding trust. He spoke about students and students' needs. He came across as a humble public servant, rooted in caring about schools and kids. His responses focused on how he could help. It's apparent that he cares about public education and the future of the school district. The fact that others asked him to step up for the board tells me that he has the community behind him. Although Mr. Barnett spoke about his concerns with the district, he seemed focused on blame. Accountability is important, but I didn't hear the deep compassion for students or the willingness to help the district succeed that I heard from Mr. Montoya. Professionalism, introspection, humility, and thoughtful articulation of the issues are critically important qualities in a board member. I heard those qualities from Mr. Dale Montoya. For these reasons, I offer my support for Mr. Dale Montoya for the District 5 board seat. Keep up the good work. I'm proud of you all, and I miss some parts of the process. Leslie Edlin. Okay, and this one is from a concerned student. To the school board and members of the community. My name is being kept private because I'm afraid of being bullied or targeted online, but I'm a student in this district and I'm very concerned about Keith Barnett, who is running for the school board. I've seen things he's posted online, and I've seen how he and some of the people who support him talk about others on social media. He's made negative and hurtful comments about the LGBTQT community, Black Lives Matter movement, and even about students and parents from our schools. It makes me feel really uncomfortable and unsafe, especially knowing that someone like that might be making decisions for all of us. In school, we are taught that bullying is wrong and that everyone should feel safe and respected. But when someone who wants to be a leader is doing the exact opposite in public, what message does that send to students like me? If feels like the rules don't apply to people with power or a big social media following. That doesn't feel fair or right. I've seen how this behavior has affected people, and I'm scared that if I speak out, I could get attacked online too, either by him, people close to him, or his supporters. That's why I'm writing this anonymously. But just because I'm not saying my name doesn't mean my voice shouldn't be heard. School board members should be people who help bring others together, not people who make others feel scared and left out. I hope the board and the community really think about what it would mean to have someone like Mr. Barnett in charge of important decisions that affect students like me. Thank you for reading this and for taking the time to listen to someone who just wants our schools to be safe and respectful for everyone. If you are truly here for the students like you say, then I hope you will hear me. Sincerely, a concerned student.
To whom it may concern, my name is Antonio Mandolina. As someone who lives and works in this community, I'm a proud supporter of Matthew De La Montana for Plumas Unified School District Board and District 5. I've seen Matthew's strong commitment to our youth through his work with programs like Every 15 Minutes. He shows up for our kids with real care and leadership, helping guide them toward making better choices and building a stronger future. He's not just involved, he's present, reliable, and truly cares about what happens in our schools and our communities. Even though he worked for an outside agency while I was with the sheriff's office, I had the chance to work alongside him. Matthew always shows respect, professionalism, and a steady, honest approach. People trust him because he listens, follows through, and treats others with fairness and respect. I believe Matthew's running for the right reasons. He wants to make a difference for our students, families, and schools, not for himself. That's the kind of person we need on the school board. I fully support Matthew De La Montana for District 5 and hope others in our community will too. Sincerely, Antonio Mandolina. The next one is from Sydney Knott. To the members of the school board and community, it is with utter excitement and deep conviction that I write and endorse Matt De La Montana for the District 5 school board seat. Matt is a pillar of our community who has consistently demonstrated unwavering support for education, athletics, and extracurricular activities. Throughout the years, I've had the privilege of knowing him. His presence and involvement have lasting impact, not just on me, but on many of the students and families in our district. Matt played a meaningful role in supporting my senior projects, and I personally experienced his kindness, understanding, and encouragement during my time in Quincy High School. He always made himself available, not only to celebrate student success, but also being present during more challenging moments. His actions show that his commitment and education extend beyond words. He shows up, listens, and leads with integrity. Although I'm not currently in town and wish I could be there in person to show my support, I want to express how this endorsement is to me. Matt's voice matters, not just to me, but to students, parents, educators, and our community as a whole. Even from a distance, I feel it's critical to stand behind a leader like him, who truly invested in the future of our schools. I have no doubt that Matt De La Montana embodies the qualities essential for the effective school board leadership, composure, transparency, accountability, and genuine willingness to collaborate. Importantly, Matt does not shy away from difficult conversations. His willingness to speak publicly and advocate before the board reflects both the courage and deep care for the well-being of our schools and students. Matt's leadership is rooted in service, and I'm confident that his perspective, experience, and dedication will be an asset to the board and to the entire District 5 community. I wholeheartedly endorse his candidacy and urge others to support him as well. Sincerely, Sydney Cobb. Is there any member of the audience who would wish to contribute to public comment at this time?
I don't have my computer because I left it at home and I had to come straight here, but I have several recommendations that have not been read before this board that I would like to read, but I just don't have access to them. Because I kind of feeling like it's a witch hunt here.
We have more time, I'm happy to pull up
Pardon?
my letters, or Chelsea, if you have some.
The ones that were sent to all of us, is that the ones that you're looking for?
I don't know if they were, because my email was just changed, so I can't get into it for the county. So I don't know if they were sent to all of you. I really don't. So what I'm just saying is, you know, we had public comment the other day, and now we have. One thing I am appreciative of Keith supporters. Never did they dog on the other opponent. This reminds me of Republicans and Democrats. I'm ashamed to be a part of this election. I can't even talk, is that?
I did pull up some, so if you want, do you want me to show you some?
I don't think it will, they gave me a different address.
No, I'm meaning the ones that were sent to all of us, if you
Oh,
wanted
yeah.
to see if any of those were ones that you wanted to read.
Do you want to read it?
No, I've chosen not to read that. So this was from So this is one that she did send to all of us.
See, I can't do any of this.
To all of us. These were today. These were
I didn't get any today because. No, they changed my email address again. It says.
Yeah, like the definition of parent. Oh, no, we found the letter, so she is reading the ones that were sent to all of us.
I am.
Oh, so if you want to. We need to move people along. Actually, let me pull up the PDF, so it's probably easier to read this.
This is to the members of the board of the district and the county of education. I attended a special board meeting on May 12th. My particular interest was in the appointment of a new trustee for Area 5 adjacent to where I live. Ms. Krim expressed concerns about the appointment process and stated she felt the vote could be compromised and unethical due to comments made about a candidate at a previous meeting. These concerns seem serious enough to cause the board to pause and address these issues. They did not, and the board then voted. I had 2 questions to ask the candidates, but there seemed to be no process for a member of the public to address the candidates. I am unable to attend the Chester meeting, therefore I'm sending this letter to a friend who can read it aloud and before the new vote. I strongly recommend Mr. Barnett not be appointed to the board. There is evidence Mr. Barnett used veiled threats toward a senior at Quincy High School 2 years ago. He publicly accused himself of using an alias and posted statements which evidently angered both Mr. Barnett and a friend of his, Winfrey. The parent has screenshots and witnesses to the threats. Here is some of what I read, and I'm not going to continue this because this didn't even come to me, first of all.
And I'm just pulling up the ones that were sent to all.
Okay. So, you know what, and I'm not going to take the time to read all the good ones because it's a waste of time because once, I don't even think Mr. Montoya would approve of all the trying to damage a man's livelihood over someone that wants to sit on the board to help our students, our teachers, and our community, to have somebody's name dragged through the mud, and for our board to find that acceptable to read that kind of trash is unacceptable to me, and I think it's pathetic. And I think I don't even want to say what I really think. I just think, how dare any of you approve to read trash, like from Dave Keller or anybody else? It is trash, and you know it's trash. You knew it was trash when you already read it. And yet he didn't bring one bad thing to say. All he did was congratulate his board member, his running mate. So you might want to just consider that before voting.
Can I say something real quick?
I'm just beyond. No wonder I'm in such bad shape.
Okay.
So I'm not gonna, I have nothing prepared because I was not expecting this whatsoever. But I will say Monday night, and Matt and our family are friends because we all have a community of the lake. We hang out together, we go to annual events together. So I'm not sure where this defamation is coming from, because nobody who I know who has, we really haven't asked anybody to campaign for Keith, but anybody who did would never state anything like that or say anything offensive towards Matthew, because we're friends with him.
Absolutely.
And as far as some of the statements that were made, I'm gonna go through the life, and this is from personal experience of where my child is in school. We have the house where all of the kids end up at our house and sleep at our house. We have kids from younger than my child's age to seniors that come to my house when my kid's not even home. It just really is hurting my heart that somebody would say these things. One of Keith's best friends, is, came out after high school because he was afraid to come out during high school, and he's kind of like a godson to him. So I don't know where any of this is coming from, but what I'm gonna tell you right now is, and this has nothing to do with if you are gonna pick Mr. Barnett or not, this has to do with who he is. He's somebody who is, what you see is what you get. And for him to talk, he's not gonna make up some, character of who he is. And if you don't want him, you don't want him. But what was stated tonight would never come out of anybody's mouth who would be supporting him. And I'm just, that's just not how our household works. We have anywhere from there's Hank across the street who just bangs on the door, who says, hey, I need my haircut this month, to where, I have a senior that comes and asks me if we're gonna work out today. And we also have what's called, we make a joke that in Jameson's bedroom, there's the prison bed, where any kid who just feels like not being home and just wants to sleep because there's too many kids in the house come and pass out on our floor. And that's why we grow up here. That's why I want my kid to grow up here. So hearing these things is very disheartening to me. We would never, ever smear Matthew's family. We actually go to all these events with them. We call Bucks Lake our home. Their family, the Grubbs up at the lake, I grew up with. I mean, this whole content is crazy to me. And I feel very bad that, he would never smear anybody like that, ever. And our household just doesn't run like that. And so, whether you vote for him or not, that's all I really care about, is you guys know who we actually are in this community. So, just so you guys know, that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
If you guys want me to come up and talk, I will, I have no problem.
I can't hear you.
I said, if you would like me to come up and talk to you, I have no problem talking to you. I just think, what was just put you guys through an email didn't come out through this whole entire situation. And the individuals that are involved are related to a law enforcement officer that I called out for being corrupt in our community. And that's exactly why they're doing what they're doing. I'm not gonna justify anybody else's behavior. It's just, it is what it is. I'm not going to, like she just said, I don't do that to people. The only thing I did is I called out the board members in the beginning online, and you guys know that, and I'll tell you about that, because I felt directly, as soon as I understood what was going on, I immediately went towards the construction side of things, how things were done incorrectly, and nobody was held accountable for it. So in my personal mindset, when I attacked you guys online about why is the board allowed to do what they're doing, is because one, is an accountant or a tax person that deals with numbers, and the other that I know of that I've talked to recently about is in charge of a very big organization, and we've had conversations about why things got the way they were, and how the wool was pulled over people's eyes, and it's nobody's fault. Everything happens, and everybody has a part that is involved in that situation, and I told this to the whole crowd on Monday, and I don't mean it like my voice is loud enough, that I have empathy for what happened, and that's why I'm here trying to help you guys make decisions
and be part of a team to help kids and educators in the future of our school system in Quincy. I'm not here to smear people or beat up on people or do anything like that. I went to a board meeting once when they had a poetry slam because I did some research and found out how much you guys have to have per state requirement to have for that kind of educational learning. And it was pushed more than more, and a lot of parents came to me and was like, this isn't right. And everybody was afraid to go stand up at that board meeting and question that. And I did, but I wasn't disrespectful or rude. I just said, we are allowed a certain amount of time, and then after that time, you guys have to put your foot down, because there's other people that are comfortable. There's people that have religion that don't believe in things of that nature, but you have to be accepted to everybody. If you're gonna be transparent, you have to be transparent to everybody. So I'm sorry you guys had to read that. I mean, really understanding law, that's definition of character for reading that to the public of what they just put out there, because there's no factual information stating that stuff. But I don't care. I'm here to be real with you guys and just tell you guys that's not who I am. I want to, I mean, why would I volunteer my time to come sit here and cause problems for the future of all of our kids and everybody involved? I'm not. I want to help you guys make decisions and not be pushed down and not be held. I mean, I could read, numerous people told me that David Keller reached out to them and just slammed them. I've never had one conversation or even shook that gentleman's hand in my life. And I mean, that's one of our football coaches? I mean, this is not okay. And if you guys pick me, it doesn't bother me. If you pick Matt, it doesn't bother me. I'm just letting you guys know it's your choice to have me be on your team. I know what I bring value to help you guys do what we need to do. I do it every single day. I've had 23 employees. I don't work for the state. I have to be accountable for myself to put food on my table. And that is the bottom line. I'm sorry you have to go through this. I'm sorry this is always this way. It shouldn't be that way. But our local people are scared to come talk to you because they don't trust the people around you and that you're associated with that are above. And that's what I was trying to bring to the table, to help you guys understand that, build a family between the board members that can trust each other and put the energy into doing what's right and putting this district back on priority, rather personal feelings, other people's fancy little things, attitudes, all that stuff. You can't do decision-making if you have that in between each other. And I'm about to, that's it. I don't even want to go anymore. I'm just being honest with you guys.
Thank you, Pete.
All right, we will move into board discussion. I appreciate your public comment. Thank you, Julie. All right, let's have some discussion, board. I'll start. I had an opportunity yesterday, after we had the meeting on Monday, to spend time with Mr. Burnett, and I really appreciated the time that we spent together. He led me to believe yet again that he really wanted to be in this position for the right reasons. And I am grateful for making himself available on a day he probably had other more important things scheduled. So just want to say how much I appreciate that time.
I wish I have something to say at the moment. Did you have something to say?
I don't have anything else to say.
I remember, I did think of a couple of questions, but it's not fair to ask, so I just remembered a couple questions that I was asked, and one of those pieces was about had I ever actually managed a budget before, and that came back to me the other night, actually, not last night, but on Monday night when I got home, and realized that of course what we're in, but that was one of the questions that I was asked, is have I ever had to manage a budget before? And not being in control of one, so I was able to say yes, or I did say yes, but it wasn't directly in control of one at the size that we have to manage here. So I do feel unfortunate that I did take that into account associated with what I am sure you are managing, and I apologize saying you, Keith is managing on with his business associated with budgets, because I do feel that is extremely important. So I just wanted to share that was one of the, a process that I went through on Monday night when I got home and still couldn't sleep. And I don't have the opportunity to ask Matt that, and so, but I'm assuming he had to do also some budgeting associated, because he had shared about the tile company that he works for. So anyway, and again, to me, that is super important, being a part of a team that is going to help us all together pay attention more strictly to our finances is important. Besides our community connections and everything else, but it's also going to be a team player situation, since now we're going to have a new team that we're going to happen to be working with, and how do we do that with how do we bring that energy together and not separate it? So, because we're gonna all have to do this together to be making decisions. Not to say that we all have to think exactly the same way, but be able to have a conversation together to come up with the best decision for ourselves. And I feel that's gonna be very difficult tonight, to have open conversations, or comfortable conversations, to help make a decision. I do have a decision, so I don't know if we're at that point, so if there was anybody else who wanted to say something.
I want to end it with, I think both candidates are excellent choices. I think both care about our community, our children, our schools. And I wish everybody in our community would pull together, in our district, in our Office of Education, and our board, would all have a little more compassion and think about how things would hurt someone and how they would like that, and the same thing done to them. And I don't know if you want to vote yet. Okay, my vote remains the same. I think
Use a motion.
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah, you can make a motion
You can make a motion to choose the candidate.
Yes.
I'll make a motion to choose the candidate now for the school board district 5.
Who are you moving to select?
Pardon?
You can name who you're moving to
Oh,
select.
and I'm going to continue to select same Keith Barnett.
Do we need a second?
Are we just calling to vote? Is that ultimately what we're
Yeah,
saying, is
yeah,
we're doing a call to vote?
Jim, would you just explain the process, please?
Yes, we have a motion, we need a second to that motion.
Okay.
If the motion is not seconded, then it dies, we ask for another motion.
Okay, so I second the motion to approve Keith.
Now we call for a vote.
Okay, so now we have a motion and a second, and you can call for a vote. Cindy, your vote is?
All in favor? All in favor? Aye? No?
No. So we are at a 50-50 split. And the next steps are, Jim, can you enlighten us?
Goes to a ballot.
We can have further discussion if you believe that that is fruitful, or we can have another motion. If that would provide, right now with a 50-50 split, there is no action taken. And we will move to what happens in a tie. We either have to call another board meeting, if that would be fruitful to resolve this, or it goes to the county superintendent, who is Andrea White, who would, I believe, I can't speak for her, but we would have to look into the legality of either a county office appointment or calling for an election, call for a special election, which is probably what my own personal advice would be, to move in that direction and let the community decide.
All right, so the motion did not carry.
And then Jim, to just clarify that vote, so should it go to public election, it is only for the area, the district that
Yes.
that is being voted on, is that correct?
Yes, that would be District 5.
Thank you. Just want to make sure.
All right, do I need to do anything else to close this out?
Nope, that's it.
we're done because we want to the next item.
All right. We'll move on to the next item. Get the correct agenda out, excuse me. All right, item number 8. I do have a public comment for this item, I believe, Alicia. You want to come up, please?
So I do want to remind the board that there was an administrative law judge who rendered an opinion, that's how administrative law works, concerning the legalities of how our layoff process came about. I have serious concerns about the order of layoff as in violations towards our contract, which is a collective bargaining agreement, in which an HR employee admitted during the hearing that the tie-breaking formulas were not appropriately applied. That is a violation of our contract. It has also come to our attention that inappropriate skipping had also taken place for the layoffs, which is concerning to the union. I do also want to remind the board that we are ready to grievance and go all the way to arbitration if needed, and we do have binding arbitration in our collective bargaining agreement. I have serious concerns about how HR has been maintaining our human resources records. Our personnel files are incorrect. We have tested out within our own ranks and have found multiple mistakes, including on my own records. My hire date is incorrect. Our chief bargaining, our chair, he's also found multiple mistakes, and we've even seen pay errors, some as high as $15,000 in back pay that was owed to employees. So we have serious concerns about the document which the district is relying on to conduct layoffs. I highly encourage the board today to not approve the layoffs. I understand the financial crisis. I understand that layoffs are legal, and I also understand that they are sometimes necessary. But when they do not follow process, contractual obligations, and the law, this is where we get into more trouble. And this goes back to my earlier comments about changing the way we do things, minding our behavior, and making positive and effective change that will have positive outcomes for our children. Thank you.
Thank you. Board, is there a discussion?
Are we just on item 1 at the moment?
Yes.
Okay. I do have thoughts, but I am conflicted with those, and because they're, my understanding with some education that I've recently received is there is a process, and with some of the process that is in question, that there is also a process to question the process that might have been wrong, and I know that didn't sound quite right, so I do apologize. So, but due to what we are trying to accomplish, which is trying to accomplish some, there was a process, that information was fed, that opportunities for staffing reductions so that way we could try and and the word right size has been used, I'm not coming up with a better word because I actually don't really care for that word very much, but ultimately identify that we are needing to be fiscally responsible, which is got to be our first and foremost, and I know we have help coming in. So at this time, I am going to make a motion to approve the PUSD resolution 16, or were we going to stay in, discussion with this before I did the motion?
If anybody else has,
I forgot. So we started to discuss our process, but ultimately, so approve, knowing that there is a process to be able to be taken after this, and can appreciate that those avenues have that opportunity. So I am making a motion to approve the PUSD resolution 1681, reduction of certificated staff for 25-26.
Is there a second?
No, I'd like to say something before I vote. There goes my big mouth again. Okay, I totally understand that the district and the state needs us to cut two positions, two staff, two teachers' positions. And I understand that, and I understand that that's how they look at it, as a position. I can look at it as a human. Two humans are gonna lose their job. And I understand that we probably have to do that anyway, but I think the process should be fair. I think if the district did not follow the proper protocol before laying off the teachers, all teachers, that should fall for all teachers, whether they appealed it or not, if the process was the same. Every teacher, you know, in the district was not properly, they did not follow protocol, even though they didn't, the teachers did not appeal it. I think that there's more information that we could have from maybe the attorney from the Teachers Association, and maybe we should read that first. So we, because I need to understand fully before I vote, you know, to follow through, so I'm gonna say no.
I have a question. We have a motion and we have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
We need to do a roll call.
And I'm sorry, it's gonna be roll call, Barb, so go ahead and call for it, please.
Johnson?
Aye.
That's approved the way.
Klein?
Aye.
Harrison?
Aye.
Krim?
No.
Motion carries. All right. For PUSD Resolution 1682, reduction of classified staff for 25-26. Board, would you like to have some discussion?
I'll move to approve USD Resolution 1682, reduction of classified staff for 2025-26.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
I second.
Roll call.
Johnson?
Aye.
Klein?
Aye.
Harrison?
Aye.
Krim?
Motion carries. At this time, I will adjourn the PCOE PSD Special Board Governing Board meeting. Have a great evening.